Hey everyone, welcome to another plan with me for the month of May. So this month, the theme is going to be mushrooms. So I'm gonna get inspiration from my mushroom layout here, and I'm going to draw a mushroom design on my paper. So I'm using this circular template to draw a circle, and inside of it I'm going to draw some really cute red mushrooms for my cover page. And on top I'm adding a little snail that's kind of laying on the biggest mushroom there in the picture. And I'm just gonna doodle everything out before I start painting it. So I really like the look of the red mushrooms, and I've always wanted to kind of draw them and have fun with them as a layout. So I thought May would be a perfect month to get into drawing these cute little mushrooms. And on the border, I am adding some little plant designs all around to just give it some more visual interest. This is a really good layout to make if you're not that great at drawing, because mushrooms are really easy to draw. So now that my drawing is finished, I'm going to start painting my picture. So what I did was I started with a light orange wash in the middle of the mushroom, and then I went back in with some red on the other parts. And I'm letting the wet on wet technique take hold by allowing the red and the orange to kind of merge into each other to give it that really nice three-dimensional blended look. So it's gonna have the highlight of orange in the middle, and along the outside parts of the mushroom you're going to see the red. And then I'm going to start painting my snail. The shell is going to be a little tan color, and I'm going to add some combinations of warm and cool tone browns on the ground as soil. And I'm going to start painting in the blades of grass and just layering the colors to give it more dimension. I start from light to dark, and I'm gonna keep adding darker shadows to shade all around my drawing. As you can see now, I'm adding a light wash of the khaki color, and then I'm going over it with a darker brown on the stems of the mushroom to give it more dimension. I'm also doing the same thing for my snail there. I'm putting in more detail with brown lining and just shading it, giving it more dimension as I go along. Adding some shadows to the bottoms of the mushroom heads there. And just defining the mushroom stems even more with more dark shadows. And defining my grass. And once I'm done shading my mushrooms in the scene there, I'm gonna start painting on the plants all around the circular design. So I'm starting off with green on half of the leaves, and then the tips will be in yellow. So once I'm done painting the plants on the outside, what I'm going to do now is start with a wash of green to finish off the background. So I'm painting in the wash of green first, and then I'm going back in with some darker shades to make a forest in the background. So I'm using some dark greens and maybe a little bit of brown to create these trees in the background, and adding some texture to give it more form and dimension. So I'm just going back in, defining the trees, adding some darker values on top as I go. So I'm working from light to dark. And I'm just adding more texture to finish off my cover page. So once I'm finished with the painting part, I'm going to add my little mini calendar on the bottom of my cover page. So for this month, I wanted to include a motivating quote on the left side of my cover page. And I wanted to keep my calendar really simple this month and just have one piece of paper for the calendar and the cover page. This month, I wanted to create a big calendar spread so I can write more events that are happening. And I really wanted enough space to kind of plan out my month. I think my calendar was a little too small last month, so I wanted to make a really big calendar this month because it's going to be the last month of school and we're just going to be crazy busy this month as the school year ends. So there's a lot going on. There's student testing and other things that need to be taken care of and wrapped up before we leave for the summer as teachers. So I wanted to just have a place where I can put everything that's happening along with my personal life and my other things that I'm doing outside of work, like my paintings, for example. So my calendar was looking a little plain and white, so I decided to add a little bit of visual interest by using some skinny washi tape and putting a little bit of it on the bottom of each box. Then I added some mushroom doodles to the top of the page, so I'm coloring the mushrooms in, and then I decided to rework the color of May by coloring it black and adding some white dots on top. Now I'm going to finish off my calendar by writing in some important dates. The next page I'm going to be designing is going to be the art brainstorming page. This month I'm calling it art thoughts. So whatever ideas I have and any inspiration that comes to me throughout the day, I can have a little place to jot it down or paste some inspiring pictures to motivate me to continue painting on my free time. And here I'm making a little section where I put my goals of painting for this month and also a supplies box. If I need to refresh some supplies or have a wish list, it can be put right there. On the next page, I'm going to plan out my YouTube on the left side. I'm decorating it with some washi tape and some really pretty metallic gel markers. And on the bottom there, I decided to add a little mushroom doodle to kind of tie in with the theme I have for this whole month. Lots of cute little mushrooms strewn everywhere on my layout. And then on the right, I'm adding a little budget page to kind of keep track of what I'm spending and what I should be budgeting on to meet my wants and needs for this month. And then I decided to add a little mushroom doodle on the corner there with some gold metallic marker and some more plant doodles. In this box, I put a little savings calculator with the item and cost of what I'm trying to save for. And on the bottom, I'm writing the date, expense, amount, and notes. So now let's move on to my weekly layout. I'm using a piece of washi tape to trace the circular shape that I'm going to make for each day of the week. So around the circles, I'm going to be drawing some leaf designs. And inside of the circle, I'm going to draw some more mushroom doodles. Some mushrooms are going to have polka dots and some are going to be of a different design so that when I paint it, it has more variety inside of the circular design. And now I'm going to paint in the mushrooms with my watercolor paints. And then I'm going to add 2 different shades of green for the leaves. One side is going to be a light green and the other side is going to be a dark green. And once the leaves are finished, I'm going to outline the vine that the leaves are on with a really teeny tiny brush. And I'm going to continue that same technique for each of my circles as I go along. If you're trying to save time when you're making this design, you can also use your brush pens or brush markers to color in the doodles instead of painting it, because painting it can be a little bit tedious and it does take more time, as I realized when I got to my third circle there. I kind of wish that I had just done it in marker to save time. So once the design has dried, I'm going to go back in with a gray pen, and I'm just going to add some little magical doodles around the mushrooms, these little tiny circles that aren't filled in, and it just gives it an extra touch. So here you can see that I've made a huge mistake when I added the numbers of the days for the first week of May. Those are not the accurate numbers. So what you see me doing is I'm actually going over the numbers and trying to cover them up and making them into something else, like clouds perhaps, with my white Posca marker. And as they're drying, I'm writing out the days of the week with my gold pen touch pen. I really love this pen. I'm kind of obsessed with using it for every kind of lettering, as you can see through my layouts. It just writes very smoothly and it's so shiny and pretty to look at. So once the paint has dried inside of the circles, I'm going back over them with the correct numbers this time with my black Sakura pen. So here's the final flip through of my month of May. So this month I decided to put my flip through of April at the end of the video instead of at the beginning. So if you're still curious about what my month of April looked like, then please continue watching till the end of this flip through and I will show you what my April looked like. So here's the flip through of my month of April. This is my calendar that I made for April. As you can see in the picture there, I got my nails done for Easter, so there's a little cute bunny on the tip of my finger. This page is my YouTube planning page. On the next page is my art Brainstorm. I have some pictures that inspired me. This is a weekly spread. It has a raindrop theme to it. This is another planning page for some paintings that I wanted to try out with charcoal mixed media. Here's another planning page, a collage series that I want to work on with a theme of koi fish. Here's another page with just some notes. Some more notes on healthy eating and some journaling. Another weekly spread. I went a little crazy with the gold and metallics on this one. And here's a page about Japan Fest that happened in April. My husband and my sister and I, we went to Japan Fest at Herman Park and it was super fun. And then here's another weekly spread. I did another raindrop theme with some mushrooms. And my last weekly spread of the month of April. Unfortunately, in April, I was super busy, so you didn't see much journaling there. Hopefully in May, I'll have some more time to journal and just scrapbook more like I want to. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this month of May, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to share it with your friends on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great May. Bye!